Bill, any words? Money right?
A lack of real planning. He should have had a tune-up fight first and then go into a fight with a guy like Romero. But, you know, these fighters and the promoters get turned by the money.
Which means they were trying all that they could to give Ryan the fight, but Ryan tried so little, threw barely any punches, that they couldn't even rob Rolly. But you could see they were trying to rob Rolly.
Bill, Haney couldn't hold back his laughter during a live interview when someone brought up Ryan Garcia's shocking loss to Rolly Romero. Right after the fight, Bill, Devin Haney's outspoken dad, jumped on Twitter and took a jab at Ryan and his team. He posted, "Congrats to Devin, Rolly, and Teo for an unforgettable night of boxing 3-0. Meanwhile, Oscar De La Hoya caught some heat too. I still can't figure out why Ryan hasn't fired De La Hoya for putting him in the ring totally clean against Rolly." Someone tweeted, "Bill's post stirred the pot, poking fun at Oscar's choices during the whole Garcia versus Romero mess." Cameras even caught Devin and...
Right here. Hey, Ryan, they canceled the face-off. They canceled the face-off.
Bob Arum didn't hold back either. He criticized Ryan Garcia's decision to jump into a fight with Rolly Romero right after a long break from boxing. According to Arum, Ryan should have taken a warm-up fight first. He said fighters like Ryan and their promoters often chase the money instead of making smart career moves, and that ends...
A lack of real planning. He should have had a tune-up fight first and then go into a fight with a guy like Romero. But, you know, these fighters and the promoters get turned by the money, and they don't make really good decisions. A good decision would have been to take a tune-up fight and then, you know, then you move to a Romero or even a Haney or so forth. You don't go right in after a year. You know, look at Haney. Haney looked terrible with Ramirez because he hadn't fought in a year.
Right after Ryan Garcia's shocking loss to Rolly Romero, boxing legend Mike Tyson was seen sitting next to Derek Chisora as they reacted to the fight. Derek didn't sugarcoat his thoughts. He said it straight. Ryan looked like he...
We are live! Derek Chisora.
What's up, motherfuckers?
What did you think of that? You and Aaron, mate, on the tear-up?
Great show.
Mate, what did you make of it tonight?
Great night.
What did you think of Ryan losing, mate?
What did you think of Ryan losing?
He didn't. You know what? It took a year out. It didn't look like he was training. Ryan didn't train for that fight.
You don't think so? Why?
I don't think so. Ryan didn't train. He didn't train for that fight.
No, but what did you think of Devin, out of curiosity?
Devin boxing unbelievable, bro.
You have to give Rolly the credit though for the Ryan win.
Devin boxing unbelievable.
You have to give Rolly the credit though, Derek, don't you?
Alright, fuck you guys.
What are you saying after this?
Boxing.
In a post that quickly took off online, Terrence Crawford shared, "I told Shakur Stevenson before the fight that Rolly was going to win." That comment gave Rolly's win even more weight, since it came from someone highly respected in the sport. After Ryan's disappointing performance, fans and analysts couldn't ignore the growing suspicion. Some even admitted what was once only whispered. Maybe Ryan had used PEDs during his win over Devin Haney. Now that he fought clean and looked flat, critics said...
Devin Haney, I thought it was a little bit of PTSD, you know, with after the Ryan Garcia fight last year, you know, the whole steroids thing with Ryan Garcia and taking the big shots he took. Very, very safety first fight. If I have to compare it, I know you guys, some of you guys don't like it, then I compare myself to my style with Devin Haney, my boxing style with Devin Haney. I think we're very similar as fighters, except I had bad hands. He didn't. From there, you know, you get that. With Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia, first of all, congrats to Rolly Romero, because he was coming in with no momentum. I mean, he had lost the Pitbull Cruz. He'd won the title at 140 against Ismael Barroso in a very controversial fashion when Tony Weeks stopped that fight too early and in his favor. So, you know, Romero had been coming in with no momentum really, and he was chosen sort of as a sort of a dead dog sacrificial lamb for Ryan's return, you know? There was that footage online, though, with that sparring, and there was a little bit of footage there, and it gave you a little bit of curiosity, right? But you're thinking, all right, you know, that was many years ago. Who knows what happens now? I tell you what, there must be some PTSD there as well, because once Rolly dropped Ryan stopped trying. Ryan stopped trying, and that's the biggest criticism there. It's, are you a Hollywood fighter? You know, why didn't you even go for it? Because at the end of the fight, although the fight was very one-sided, two schmuck judges actually had the fight within 3 points for Ryan Garcia, 115-112 for Rolly, which means they were trying all that they could to give Ryan the fight, but Ryan tried so little, threw barely any punches, that they couldn't even rob Rolly. But you could see they were trying to rob Rolly, and that's disgusting.
British welterweight contender Conor Ben spoke out after the fight, saying he was let down by how Ryan performed. Ben called the showing very disappointing and said he'd like to see a rematch between Garcia.
What did you make of it?
That's a very disappointing performance. Yeah, it was terrible.
You still want to get in there with him next time?
Nah, definitely not. Not interested. Thank you.
What's the conversations been like about the rematch, Con?
Huh?
What's the conversations been about the rematch with Turkey?
I mean, as far as I'm aware, it's locked in for September. So,
how have you found this whole new, like, your stocks rose? Obviously, a lot of people
yeah,
over here
I
are
mean,
interested.
it's all just noise, you know. One day they love you, next they hate you, then they love you again, you know. So I just want to get back in there and secure the W. That's all that matters to me.
When you had that moment with Terence Crawford, what did he say to you?
I can't remember. I think I've had a few.
Teofimo Lopez shifted the focus from Garcia's poor performance to Rolly Romero's solid effort. He praised Rolly for sticking to his plan, listening to his coaches, and staying cool under pressure. He fought smart and didn't get emotional, Lopez said.
You know, in the main event,
Absolutely.
Rolly pulled it off. He said he would. He said, you know, people would be surprised, but he knew what he was going to do. What do you think about his performance?
No, I'm very happy for Rolly. You know, sad short shot for Ryan Garcia, but hey, look, you know, don't overlook anybody. And, you know, I think Rolly had a great game plan. He listened to his team very well, you know, and before he went to the event, my father told him, just keep your right hand up the whole night, you know, and that's it. You'll win the fight, and he did that. And he looked great.
You saw what Devin did in the other fight on the card.
Asked about the Garcia versus Romero fight, Floyd Mayweather Sr., known for speaking his mind, chose to stay silent. His refusal to comment made just as big a statement.
Your thoughts on Rolly Romero beating Ryan Garcia?
All the place.
Do you think that the decision was right? What? Rolly Romero, the win.
Pop was into the fight. Low action.
Well, that's what he thinks about that fight. It put him to sleep.
After the fight, Ryan Garcia finally spoke up with a short but heartfelt message. I'm really disappointed in the way I fought tonight. It was just a bad night, he admitted. His words were honest, without excuses. Still, for many fans, that wasn't enough to make up for what looked like a total lack of fight and heart. It was clear even Ryan knew he had let everyone down, including him.
Obviously, it wasn't a good night for me. It was a pretty off night. You know, Rolly did what he does. You know, took a lot of good power shots, caught me in the second round. But just even in the start of the fight, it just didn't feel like my feet were under me, like I had anything. But you know, I tried to fight through it, and just found myself very off after the year layoff. You know, that whole year, you know, it was a lot for me mentally, as you guys know. So the fact that I got here is, and I'm in the position I am, my mind is as clear as it is a victory for me, I would say. But I'm extremely disappointed in the way I fought.
Former heavyweight champ Shannon Briggs didn't hold back. He blasted the entire event and especially Ryan's fight. That was horrible. No punches, no effort, nothing. Briggs said, slamming the bout as a total.
Yeah, there was the fight was long, no knockouts. They were scared to fight.
We need heavyweights as part of this show.
They need punches. They need punches. Turkey needs punches. This ain't nothing. They wasted a lot of time coming to New York just to play around in the street.
What did you make of Ryan Garcia?
They all are horrible. All of them suck. The whole card. All of them can't fight. Everybody was scared of each other. Everybody was scared.
After the loss, Ryan Garcia faced a storm of criticism online. The boxing page, Happy Punch, tweeted, Ryan Garcia beaten by Raleigh. I guess now we know what he looks like without PEDs. The comment was harsh, but echoed what many fans believe, that Ryan's earlier rise may have been chemically boosted. And this fight showed his real form. Social media exploded with memes, hot takes, and questions about his past fights. In a painful moment, Ryan was filmed crying in a car after fight. Posted by user the 505 way, quickly went viral, showing just how much the defeat hurt him. Promoter Eddie Hearn also gave his thoughts after watching Ryan fall apart. He suggested that the issue might go deeper than just boxing. Something serious is going on. He needs help, Hearn said. His comments weren't about technique. They hinted at concern for Garcia's emotional and mental health.
I mean, I saw some stuff tonight. I can't believe what I'm seeing. What the f*** Honestly, something bad is going to happen if someone don't get hold of Ryan Garcia. I keep saying it. And, you know, you may play these clips back when something bad happens. Like, it's just a car crash. He just needs help. He needs help real bad. I hope he can get it.
Despite the criticism, Oscar De La Hoya tried to stay positive. He said the loss wasn't a disaster and added, Ryan knows what he has to do. De La Hoya also said that a rematch with Devin Haney is still possible and will...
Those on the fight real quick, man. How did you think Ryan looked out there, man?
Little gun shy, you know, that year off. You know.
What do you think?
All that power from Rollies, but he'll be back to the drawing board, and you know,
how devastating
he'll live to see another day. That's it.
How devastating of a loss is this for Ryan, man?
Not devastating at all. At all. Win 12 rounds. He knows he's way better than that. He knows what he has to do. So.
Do you think that the Devin Haney fight probably off the table? Do you think that, or?
It'll be back.
How do you?
It has to happen.
How do you think Devin looked out there, man?
Gun shy.
After the win, Rolly Romero felt like he finally proved himself. Everyone doubted me, he said. Romero pointed out that Ryan only really attacked once the whole fight, making it easy for him to control things. His comments showed just how one-sided the match was, and how little resistance he got from a guy once seen as a top.
You know, he's strong, you know, he has a good left hook, you know, and, you know, one time he opened up, you know, I cracked him and he didn't open up at all the rest of the fight. They're always going to underrate me because I'm not one of these prospects that started boxing and had a following and all stuff. They're fresh out the amateurs, they promoted them like, oh, this is the next big thing, yada, 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 all that stuff. At the end of it, I've done this 3 times. Three different divisions. I'm a 3-time world champion, and this might actually be the biggest, the most attended fight card in boxing history.
This fight, held in Times Square and promoted as a major event, ended up being one of the most disappointing matches in recent memory. Fans were expecting fireworks, but what they got was a slow, dull fight that left...
The 3 biggest takeaways from Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero, and yes, I'll break down the other fights on this card too. But my God, what an underwhelming night of boxing! Times Square was underwhelming, the fights were sure as hell underwhelming, but let's get through this review, shall we? Number 1, Rolly Romero defeats Ryan Garcia via unanimous decision. And just like that, one of the biggest boxing fights of the year, Haney versus Garcia 2, has lost all of its luster. So there wasn't that much action in this fight besides Ryan getting dropped in round 2. I think by a similar shot I saw in their sparring video from 8 years ago. But the second round Rolly had set the tone for the rest of the fight. Ryan couldn't get much offense off at all for 12 rounds. And for the first 8 rounds, there were a lot of rounds where I was like, I don't think either guy did enough to win that one. But in rounds 9 through 12, I thought Rolly had the far more aggressive moments, and he clearly took those final 4 rounds from me. At the end of the day, this was an awful main event, but it looks like Hagler versus Hearns in comparison to the next fight we'll discuss. And that's number 2. Devin Haney was at his all-time worst tonight. It looked like he was still recovering from the Ryan Garcia beatdown last year.
Another big complaint came from fans who thought the judges were trying to protect Garcia. But even then, his lack of effort made it impossible to give him the win. Rolly Romero, on the other hand, was sharp, focused, and aggressive. He dominated in a way that
words. We're on stream, by the way. Join in. Ryan Garcia is absolutely masterclassed by Rolly Romero. Absolutely obliterated on my scorecards. Now, two judges tried to rob Rolly. 2 judges scored it 7-5. Do not let these judges confuse you, people. Do not let these the punch stats confuse you. This was a 9-3, 8-4 fight. Ryan Garcia looked terrible. Rolly Romero put on a flawless performance. I am in absolute awe. I cannot believe what we just witnessed. Rolly Romero put on a better performance than Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney. Wow. This is supposed to be the easiest fight on this card. By far, it's supposed to be the easiest fight. And I mean, it was. Rolly made this the easiest performance of the night. This is a shocker. Y'all gotta please help me. Please let me. I cannot fathom this quite.
An unusual moment came during the fight when fellow boxer Shakur Stevenson was seen shouting instructions to Ryan from ringside. Sitting next to Mike Tyson, Shakur kept telling Ryan to keep his guard up, clearly worried about his defense. The fact that other fighters were trying to coach him live during the fight showed just how unprepared Ryan.
Hey Ryan, keep your hands up, Ryan! Let's go! Keep your hands up! Stay calm and relax! Relax, Ryan!
Relax, Ryan! Good job, baby! Then you got there! The double straight up in the air.
Rolando,
Legendary trainer Teddy, Atlas didn't hold back when talking about Garcia's career. He keeps getting into these big fights, but he loses the important ones, Atlas said. A lot of fans agreed, saying Ryan's career has been more about image and hype than real results. Despite the fame and big promotions, he just can't seem to...
He keeps getting these fights. He loses the big ones, and he gives us all. I'm not knocking him, but he loses the big ones, and then he comes up and gets a big fight where obviously it passes somebody else up on the line that probably thinks, hey, wait a minute, I've been winning. I've been winning over here, and I'm not getting this shot. This guy loses when he gets them, and he gets another one. Like, what the? Like, what the heck? I can't just definitively say no. Not because of Romero, but because of Ryan. My only question is, has he found himself? And it's not physical. It's not physical at all. At all. I have no doubts he's good physically. Has he found himself mentally? If he has, and I'm going to venture to say yes, he has. But if he has, then he wins this fight.
18. Blair Cobbs, never shy about giving strong opinions, said it was bizarre watching Garcia get outboxed by Rolly Romero. He even called it funny, clearly stunned that someone considered a top-tier boxer could look so lost in the ring. His take added more fuel to the growing belief that this might be the most...
How do you get outboxed and outpointed by Rolly? That's strange. Very strange. Sounds like you guys need good old bladder flair. Yeah. This shit is funny. Devin did a horrible job. Oh my God. He looked like the biggest pussy in boxing. That was wild.
British welterweight contender Conor Benn spoke out after the fight, saying he was let down by how Ryan performed. Benn called the showing very disappointing and said he'd like to see a rematch between Garcia